This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Welcome back to another edition of Real Answers, a regular Wednesday feature during the Family Life Noon Report, where we discuss the issues that matter to families with licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson. Welcome back, Chris.
Thank you, Martin. Good to be here.
Good to have you. Well, today we're going to talk about a bit of a modern take on Lent. Today, Ash Wednesday, many Christians will be fasting from something they love. Chocolate comes to mind, all kinds of, you name your personal vice. But one trend that seems to be gaining some traction this Lent is the electronic fast. I'm trying it for the first time myself. I know you've actually done this before, and I guess you somehow survived. So how was it?
Yes, I did. I'll tell you what, this is something that I think I'm going to incorporate it somewhat routinely into my life, because it's just amazing how much these computers, these smartphones, these laptops, whatever, have gotten control of our lives. And it's like, there really truly is a withdrawal from it too.
Yeah, it's I mean, we hear about, fentanyl and cocaine and all that. It's a lot of similarities. Scary.
Especially some of these social media platforms, they are programmed to create a craving response, believe it or not, very similar to what an external chemical might do. Because if you think about it, you post something on Facebook or on whatever social media platform you're on, and you can't wait to see who saw it, and you can't wait to see how many likes and loves and this. So you're sitting at your desk trying to be productive, honor God with your work, and then all of a sudden you find yourself checking to say, I wonder how many people looked at that post. That's actually a chemical-driven response in the reward center of your brain that keeps you going back to that.
Guilty as charged. It's you post something, you got to go throw a picture up there, and you got to know. Now, even for those of us who predate smartphones and social media, it's getting hard to remember life without all of our electronic appendages, which are supposed to serve us. But as you mentioned, it feels more and more like it's the other way around.
It does. And I predated as well. I mean, I have to think back to the days when I was in college or even before that. And I think, if I didn't have all this electronics, what exactly would I be doing with my time right now? I wouldn't be sitting here scrolling. I wouldn't be worrying about who did this or who did that on social media. I would be literally engaging in an entirely different set of activities. And I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to get back to where we ask ourselves, okay, I have a choice to make. I can either pick up this phone, hop on my laptop or my iPad or whatever, or I can engage in any number of other, probably more fulfilling and more productive and probably more healthy activities. So part of this is, what do I need to do to get to the point where I'm mindful again? Mindfulness just means I'm aware of the moment, I'm aware that I have a choice, and then actually making a choice that's overall better for you.
You're listening to Real Answers. I'm Mark Webster, along with licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson. We're talking about an electronic fast. Now, one area church that I saw is inviting members to do an e-fast this Lent. They had different tiers for it. The easy level was just giving up social media. The moderate one added quote-unquote entertainment, and the trifecta threw in news and information. And I had to rule that one out if I wanted to keep my job. But each one of those can be a vice unto itself, especially news these days. And they're all sort of intertwined now anyway. Many young folks get their news only as a byproduct of being on social media.
And Mark, and I think that social media and the internet and electronic platforms are so integral into our lives. I don't necessarily think that cutting them out completely for most people is really the answer, as much as it is getting it under control and being more proactive and, let's say, scheduling, if need be, the amount of time you're going to be on it. For example, I'm going to speak directly to small business owners, let's say, that have a home business online. They're in the habit of constantly checking to see if they've got orders or checking to see who's posted on their advertisements or this and that. That's just as intrusive as using social media for personal reasons. So if you're a small business owner and you have an online business or you're selling things online, you got to set business hours. And business hours include when you're going to check your messages or check to see who's posted on your page or whatever. You got to be smart about this. You have to say, all right, this is part of my life, but I cannot let it control me. I have to set those hours. I'm not going to engage social media for any reason between the hours of whatever and whatever, so that you give the proper time you need for your family, for other responsibilities, and getting sleep too.
Well, to recap, Chris, then what can someone who decides to pull the plug for over a month here now expect when they come out on the other side?
Well, expect it initially when you first decide to do it. you're going to feel the pang. You're going to feel like, where's that phone? You're going to find yourself looking for your phone, looking for your laptop, but realize when you do that, that's a normal response to any habit that you're trying to cut out. So expect that it's not going to be easy right away. Make sure that you have a way of reminding yourself that you are doing this so that you don't habitually, again, pick up that phone and go on the internet or onto social media. Have other activities to replace it with, okay? You might have to just take a look around the house and get out that to-do list and say, okay, I better be having something else to replace it with. Otherwise, you're going to sit there and be like, just thinking about getting on social media, and that's not going to be good either. And then I would, quite honestly, Mark, I would think long term beyond that 30 days and think, how should this be in my life, if at all? And for most of us, we're going to say, yeah, it should to some degree. Then what does that really look like? What does that look like, and how can you control it? It might be you decide, all right, after I'm only going to go on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, I guess it's called X now. You're only going to go on these platforms, let's say, twice a week. But just realize, too, that you're going to have to be on your guard, because if you're already spending way too much time, even cutting it back is going to be a challenge. So, but really decide that it's going to play a role in your life. You need to decide what that role is going to be.
Good advice there. You've been listening to Real Answers, a Wednesday feature of the Family Life Noon Report, where we discuss the issues important to families with licensed mental health counselor Christopher Anderson. Thanks again, Chris.
Absolutely, Mark.
From the breaking news stories that are shaping your world to the issues that matter most to you and your family, Family Life News will keep you up to date on what's happening. You'll get the information you need and the faith-based perspective you want from a news team you can trust. Family Life News, covering New York, Pennsylvania, our country, and our world, with hourly newscasts, weekday mornings and afternoons, and our weekday broadcasts of the Noon Report and the 5 o'clock Report. Family Life News, the news you need when you need it. A friend you can turn to, Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.